Why did you join the Fierce Emporium?
So I guess I was stuck, really stuck, and quite demotivated. I just moved from one job to another job, which hadn't really kind of worked out. Um, and I think I realised that I'd moved from one job to get away from the other job rather than I thought I was moving towards something that I wanted to do. So I was in this kind of very confused state where nothing was really making sense. And I'd followed your website for a while and was thinking about careers coaching, and I'd been, having the emails and stuff. And I guess I'd done careers coaching before. It maybe felt a little bit sort of, stayed, I would say, a little bit kind of stayed, a little bit uninspiring. I'd ended up in my current career. I think what I got from your website was that there was a lot of energy and enthusiasm about what you were doing. Yeah, so it was really very different from anything that I'd seen before. So I suppose that's why I ended up in the Fierce Emporium. I was kind of looking at careers coaching, feeling a bit lost, not really quite sure where to go. And also, I was looking for something that was tailored to somebody my age, which is, sort of late 40s, rather than when I looked online, there was a lot of stuff around, young people in their 20s and 30s. And this was specifically targeted at that group. So there was a lot of enthusiasm around that and that it was possible, my age. And I just thought, well, okay, then let's dive in. I think, I got to that point where I didn't feel like I had any other choices. Let's do it.
Brilliant. And the Fierce Emporium at first glance is sometimes a little weird or unusual. What were your hesitations about joining it?
So yeah, I tell you the graphics. I looked at those and I thought, I don't know about that. That's really weird. That looks really odd. Everybody else has got these kind of, I would say, I don't know, it's kind of slick marketing and everything's very kind of modern, and then you're kind of confronted with these like weird mannequins with odd names and stuff. So I guess I was like, what's this about? Is this weird? Once I realized quite quickly, and I guess I must have picked that up before I joined, that it actually is to make you think differently about what it is you're doing. So it is very much designed to be different to everything else. It's it's not corporate. It's not I don't know. I keep coming to the word slick. That's not what I mean. But it that kind of very modern, we can work on you kind of stuff. It's actually designed to make you think very differently. So I mean, they're also kind of I was quite curious about them. It makes you, even though you think, oh my God, what are they? I was like, why that? So yeah, it does make you a little bit curious as well. So that was one of my hesitations. Apart from that, just would it work? What if I don't come up with anything? What if I spend an awful lot of money and I still don't, know what to do at the end of it, or I end up somewhere I don't want to be, which is what I've done before. So that was another one of my hesitations.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And now you've been through the Fierce Emporium, you've been through the 6-week program. What are some of the personal highlights from your time or from the work that you did in the Fierce Emporium?
So straight off, I think it was probably like maybe the first week, it was the career sculpture, which was a really useful, valuable exercise, which I was really skeptical about. Again, it was something that I didn't make a lot of sense to me in the abstract, but actually when I did it, was a very useful to kind of plot your career and be able to see patterns in it. And so I was able to make a connection there from knowing that I was, choosing jobs because I wanted to get away from things rather than I was moving towards them, and actually to see it on a piece of paper in front of me was really quite powerful. Actually, I was like, right, okay, this is what I'm doing. So immediately I could, put the brakes on because I could see myself repeating that pattern in my current situation. So that was really, really powerful. One of the other things that we did was look at some strengths and values. So I found that really, really powerful as well. I think I'd never stopped it's very easy to think about what you don't want and what you're not good at, and that kind of narrative going on in your head. I'd never really had to look at what I was good at and where my strengths might be. So it was a real kind of shift, and also really naming your values. I think we operate under them without really maybe thinking about them. Being much clearer on it has made me, it's kind of given me more a sense of myself, and has maybe lighten up a little bit on myself, because I know that this is where I'm operating from, this is where I'm coming from. If something conflicts with that, then obviously it's going to feel bad, and it's not about me personally. And I think also the high tea, so meeting the other people that were doing this, has been really, really good. So you get to hear other people's experiences, you get to see other people in the same boat, you get to hear their thoughts, different perspectives. So I've really enjoyed that as well.
Brilliant, brilliant, thank you. And what would you say, you've told me some of your takeaways, are there any other takeaways that stand out for you?
I think the big one kind of overall is that this is a process. So when I started, or when I was looking at careers coaching, I think there was an expectation somewhere that I would just have this epiphany, this moment where you go, oh my God, yes, I've always wanted to be an accountant, or something like that, that I would suddenly go. And so there were a couple of things. One is that I felt a bit of a failure for not knowing that, and two, that's also quite scary at this stage of life, when you've probably got to a certain level, and then that kind of wholesale uprooting, changing feels very a bit frightening. So one of the things I think that I've learned from this is a process. So it's not necessarily going to be that big thunderclap moment. It's about chipping away. It's it's about thinking and trying to focus and narrow it down and hone, and think about you and who you are and what you can do and what you want, rather than it being a kind of big lightning strike, everything changes. So that's then again allowed me to be a little bit more, ease up a little bit on it and be a bit more relaxed about it.
Brilliant, brilliant, thank you. And does your future look or feel any different right now?
Yes and no.
Okay.
That sounds a bit conflicting. So I think before, when I started this, I couldn't really see much of a future. Now I can see a future. The future that I imagined isn't going to be so wildly different from the future that I've got. So it's not like I'm gonna, I don't know, run off and open a bar in Bali or something like that. There are aspects of my life that are going to carry on as before, and I've got some new understanding about that, but then I can see a direction that I want to go in, and I can see a path towards it. So yeah, it does look different. Same but different.
Brilliant, brilliant. And who else do you think could benefit from joining the Fierce Emporium?
So I think somebody who just doesn't know what they want, wants something else but doesn't know what they want. That can be a very difficult place to be. I think, even somebody who does know what they want but doesn't know how to get there. But I think if you don't know what you want, there was always a nub there of something that I wanted, and actually this has allowed me to uncover it in a way that I don't think I would have done before, and I didn't in a previous process. So if you feel like there is, there's nothing there, there's nothing in the future, that you don't know where to go, you're feeling completely lost, I think this is quite a good place to come.
Perfect. And a final silly one. What 3 words would you use to describe your experience within the Fierce Emporium?
So I would say my 3 words are danger, change ahead. And I choose that because I think it's impossible to engage in this and not have change of some kind or another. It's just not going to happen, that you're going to come out of this exactly the same as you were. It may not be what you think it's going to be, but there will be change as a result of it. So if you don't want to know about it, don't embark on this, but actually I would say go for the ride.